Just 2 Sundays ago, a peaceful afternoon was shattered when this father-son pair opened fire on a Hanukkah celebration at Sydney's famed Bondi Beach. The attackers were inspired by Islamic State extremist ideology, said Australian authorities.
Welcome to JBN Unfiltered Behind the News Desk. Just over 2 weeks ago, during a Chanukah celebration at Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia, terror struck. Jihadi terrorists opened fire in a peaceful crowd. Many lives were lost. But in the middle of that chaos, something else happened. Courage, sacrifice, and heroism by many. Our guest today is Leibel Lazaroff, a young American rabbi from Texas, a loyal JBN follower who wanted the world to hear not only about the loss, but about the miracles that unfolded that day. When the shooting began, Leibel was safely hidden, could have stayed put, he could have run. Instead, after hearing a wounded police officer shout for help, he ran towards the gunfire. He tore the shirt off his own back and used it as a tourniquet to save the wounded officer's life. As the terrorist approached, Leibel begged the officer to shoot. When he couldn't, Leibel asked for the gun himself. Leibel, who's trained, licensed, a gun owner from Texas, knew how to shoot. He knew what needed to be done. But that moment was not meant to be. Instead, Leibel watched his mentor, Rabbi Eli Schlanger, murdered right in front of his eyes. Rabbi Eli was his teacher, his guide, his mentor. Leibel survived. Rabbi Eli did not. Listen to Leibel's amazing story of survival, resilience, and what he wants us to understand in a time when Jews are increasingly being targeted. And stay until the end, when you'll hear from Leibel's mother and what she wants parents and children alike to know in these trying times. This is Leibel's story. Leibel, we want to thank you for joining us today. I know it's not easy. You're after how many operations?
8.
8? Oh, wow, 8 operations. Wow.
Still more to go.
The last time we spoke, it was 7. Wow. So it's
I have another one tomorrow.
Wow. It's an amazing recovery, which Leibel will take you through soon. But first, we want to ask you. So, Leibel, how did you end up in Australia? You grew up in Texas. So, how is it that a young rabbi from Texas ends up in Australia?
Yeah. So I grew up in College Station, Texas, where my parents run the Jewish Student Center there at Texas A&M University, the largest university in America. And we are the only frum family in our city, actually. And the closest
wow.
mikvah is 100 miles away. It's a 2-hour drive. Closest kosher restaurant, anything Jewish, everything's farmland in between.
Wow.
So that's how I grew up, up in Texas.
And I know we were playing Jewish geography earlier, and we share a local native, Sam Sauls, the first Orthodox Jew to play D1 football. He walked onto the Texas A&M field with no high school experience. So that's a whole podcast in itself. And he actually grew up as a Ben Bias and near you or in your house.
We're the only religious family, and since all kosher food, everything by us,
Yeah.
I grew up making everything. You wanted Chinese, you wanted sushi, you make it yourself. You're not going out to
Yeah.
eat. So we were his essentially second home, and he was like a brother to me. We're very close.
Yeah.
because we saw him every day, come pray, daven by us, as well as eat and everything as well.
And how is
Everything
it
in
that
between.
I'm sorry, how is it that you decided to move to Australia, living in Texas? How did that come about?
So Rabbi Schlinger, he heard about me and what I was doing. I was helping a lot with, the big CT and Shabbatones and all the massive things that Chabad has going on, those massive weekends and stuff. So I was very involved in a lot of those things and helping run those things, etc. And he heard about me and he right away jumped on me. He reached out to me and he said, I want you to come to us next year for Shlichus for your year. And he really, there was a little ups and downs, things weren't looking so clear. And he pushed me, and a few weeks before, he's like, just come yourself.
Oh, wow.
Like, just come on no commitment. We want you. I need you. You're going to have a great time and we're going to take care of you. Um, and let's make an impact and let's make a difference together. And right when I got here to Sydney, I right away knew I was in the right place. We right away got rolling and really accomplished, in only 3 months, the amount of impact that I was able to accomplish was really amazing.
So you
And it
were
was really looking like a great year
you
ahead.
were spreading the light even before Hanukkah. To the average person, when they think of Australia, they're thinking, because we're here freezing in the winter now, and the snow and the gusts and the wind, the hail. We're thinking about the shrimp on the bobby at the beach, Hanukkah on the beach, and we're wrapped up in the snow with the snowmen. For all intents and purposes, Australia sounds like a little piece of Gan Eden on Earth.
Oh, it's beautiful here. It's beautiful here, and the community as well. The non-Jewish community as well. The Australian people are amazing people, great people.
Yeah.
I was very pleased.
So we're gonna go from that, and again, from a lovely Gan Eden to what we can call a hell on earth that day. And you reached out and you said you wanted to spread the Presume Nisa of what happened there on that day and spread the light. So this is something you want to discuss and you want to get out there to Jewish and non-Jewish alike. So take us back to that moment. As soon as the gunshots started, as you started to hear the gunshots, what was your first thought as that happened?
So when the first gunshot rang out, I right away knew it was a gunshot. I was shocked because I never thought in Australia, considering there are no guns here,
And that's
I never
amazing
thought
because
that could ever happen.
most people thought it was fireworks. There was even videos of some people saying, "Oh, look, cool
So yeah.
fireworks."
So the second I went down right away after one gunshot. I looked around and no one was going down. No one went
Wow.
down until probably 10 gunshots in, until people
Huh.
started screaming, get down, get down. People just couldn't
Yeah.
believe it.
Yeah.
But I knew right away. And right when I got down, the first thing went through my head, I started looking around for some sort of weapon,
Hmm.
something I can do to attack, something I can do. Because you know, I saw that there wasn't necessarily great defense. There wasn't really people answering the shooting. Um, there were cops that tried. Um, but that was my first thing. I right away got down and I right away tried to see what can I do to take down these people.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
knew where
So
it was coming from,
you
so
could,
I was trying to
even
figure that out.
without, and you right away wanted to try and help. You were already assessing the situation.
Yeah, so instead of running, there was actually a spot like 5 feet to my left that I could have went and hidden very, very safe. Like no way I would have been seen. It was off to the corner,
Yeah.
but as
And that's
helpless as I
a
felt,
question I want to ask. So you could have run. What made you
I
turn
had a
back to
place
help this
literally
police
5 feet.
officer?
So I was sitting there trying to figure out what I can do. I felt helpless because obviously, I'm from Texas. I do carry it home, but here in Australia, of course, I wasn't in that position to.
Yeah.
And
And then
so I read it.
you hear police
Yeah,
officer screaming for
yeah.
help. So
So
you
basically,
decide to what
so I
makes you
start.
think
So
okay, let me run into the fire. Most people are like, let me go run away from the bullets. So you're like, let me run to this guy who was just shot, to a police officer, and let's try and assist him. Walk us through that. What was going through your mind?
so initially, I was there trying to figure out what I can do, even though I was helpless. I was trying to see a stick, something to see a police officer retreating. I was behind the minivan. See a police officer retreating, saying, I've been shot, I've been shot. I said, where have you been shot? Where have you been shot? He points to here. I right away take the shirt off my back.
Wow.
I'm not trained. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not like an EMT, but I right away knew that you got to stop the bleeding. So I took off the shirt and I just wrapped it over the wound and just tied it as tight as I could. I said anywhere else, and he just kind of incapacitated. Didn't really, not really give much response. It's stay with me. You're gonna be okay. And then Rabbi Ali Schlenger from behind me starts screaming that the terrorist is coming towards the car. Where the cops? Why isn't anyone shooting? Tell him to get up. And
Rabbi Schlang was right near you, you're saying?
He was 10 feet, around approximately 10 feet behind me to my left, also kind of behind the car. But he saw the terrorist, I guess, coming down from the bridge. So he saw him walking towards us. He said, he's coming towards the car. Tell the cop to get up and shoot. So I begged the cop. I said, can you get up and shoot? And he's kind of just like laying there like this. I said, please, please give me the gun. I know it's against. Yeah. I said, I know I know it sounds crazy. You won't, but I am licensed. I'm trained. I'm from Texas. I carry it home.
Wow.
I don't care about protocol. I'll deal with the repercussions later. Please give me the gun. I don't see anyone engaging the shooter. Like, I see two options here. Either everyone's going to die, or maybe I can save someone. Please, please, please. And I kind of reached for it to see what his reaction was. And he kind of, with his little strength that he had, and I don't blame him. I totally understand. He kind of covered the gun. And I wasn't going to rip it out of his hands, because if we end up in a tussle, we'd both be dead. But I begged him. I said, okay, maybe you have a knife. Maybe you have a taser. You have something you can give me. And he was kind of just laying there, not really responsive.
You were in panic mode. You were like, let me do something, anything.
Well, because Rabbi Ali was screaming that he's coming towards the car. I said, just give me anything. Give me anything. Because if he's coming towards the car, I mean, I could try to run at him as he's coming towards me, try to disengage him, like disarm him and take the gun. What's the practicality of that?
Wow.
I was trying to see anything that I can get. But the cop was not really,
and that was
understandably so. Apparently, he didn't just get shot here. He was also shot in the stomach. But I hadn't noted at that time. That was the only wound that I saw, and that was the only one that he pointed to. So, and then as that's happening, within a couple seconds, Rabbi Schlinger got shot. And then 2 seconds later, I got shot as well. And that's when I was like, okay, it's up to God. Right before I got shot, and I couldn't get the gun.
You remember everything from beginning. But most people go into shock. They don't remember. All they remember is waking up in a hospital bed. But you remember everything from start to finish.
I was completely awake until I went into surgery.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I can give you more detailed recounts. For example, when they kept on telling me that that we're going to ambulance 423. When they rolled me into the ambulance, I noticed that it was ambulance 422, but I didn't say anything. Once we were in the ambulance, the medics were like, oh, wait, why do we keep on saying 423? Are we 423? I'm like, no, it said on the ambulance we're 422.
So you're
like,
shot.
You're right.
You're shot in the abdomen.
Internal bleeding,
and you're also shot in the leg, and you're busy directing. It's amazing. You're busy. You had the presence of mind.
I was completely conscious. Yeah. 100%. And the doctor said it's actually what kept me alive, is the fact that I was completely conscious. Because after I had been shot in the stomach, I actually received a phone call. I was laying on the floor. I received a phone call from my Olman, who was not there at the time yet. He was coming for the program part of the Chanukah party. And he called me and he said, is everything okay? I said, no, Rabbi Schlinger's been shot. He's out. I've been shot, and I need medical assistance ASAP. Medic. And then I hung up. And we probably got, the shooting lasted I think 6 minutes and 47 seconds. I think we got shot probably around 2 minutes in, maybe a little earlier. So I was really sitting there, and no one came to assistance until the shooting ended. So I was sitting there holding myself in. I right away was putting pressure on the entrance. I didn't see the exit wound, so I was already just putting pressure on the entry wound, and just trying to hold my body in from bleeding. I felt essentially, because it was a shotgun, my stomach kind of exploded into a big jelly, like a big ball on the left side.
Yeah. Remember, the people are saying this is not a little handgun. This is a shotgun.
So I got shot with a shotgun, and the way it works is it has pellets inside that disperse. So it essentially just created it created an internal explosion. And I just felt my internal stomach just exploding inside itself. Outside didn't even look so bad, but there was just this big bump. And I was just trying to hold myself in until the shooting stopped. Once the shooting stopped, 3 civilians came over and they started to pour water, clean it up, and try to close the wounds. They actually did so with some gauze. They gave me a little bit of oxygen as well, some gauze, a t-shirt, and some food wrap, saran wrap, food service wrap. They wrapped it around to hold it in. But even then, the main issue was I was internal bleeding. So I was conscious. I was giving instructions, There was even a certain point where someone walked by. What can I do? I said, I'm losing strength to hold in my wound. I need someone to push. And so she came and pushed for 2 minutes really hard. And that, I think that ultimately saved my life because I didn't have strength anymore. I felt like my intestines, really, either way,
And let me ask you this.
not to get
So
too gory.
there's a lot of, are you thinking, is because people describe when this happens that a minute can seem like a year. Did it seem like that it's such a long amount of time? Were you asking what's taking so long to stop these guys? What's going through your mind? Obviously, as you're trying to assist the cop, assist Rabbi Schlanger, get the cop's gun, shoot the terrorist. But before that, were you thinking,
I got shot 2 seconds later. So
oh, so this all happened very quickly.
It all happened that whole interaction was probably around a minute, realistically. Obviously, it felt longer, but the shooting, after I got shot, the shooting didn't stop for an additional 3 minutes. I was laying there waiting for the shooting to stop so I could get assistance. And of course, I was wondering what took so long. But
And now there's reports that in Australia they want to ban everyone. The solution to this is not so much to ban the political issues with the globalized intifada, but the solution now is, oh, let's ban guns so that everything will be okay now. But it doesn't necessarily happen though. I think they already banned guns in Australia. These criminals still got guns.
yeah,
it just goes to show you.
these people are full of hatred. They're full of evil. They're sick, and they will do whatever they can to kill.
Yeah.
When they say globalized intifada, they mean it. They want to kill everyone, and they'll figure out how to do it no matter how illegal something is.
So now the difficult question. So you watched your mentor, Rabbi Eli Schlanger, get shot. Did you know right away that that was a fatal shot? Or what were you thinking when that happened?
Yeah, so when I saw him got shot, and the way I saw him got shot, I knew right away. I was like, he's out. And I was just laying there, and I got shot 2 seconds later. Right after I got shot, I was laying there. I'm looking at him. I'm like, it's not fair. He has 5 kids. He's in his early 40s. Like, that's not okay. I'm 20. Why him? Why not me? Like,
Wow.
why
So
why
you
am
were
I
actually
still?
you were thinking that as that's happened, or later on you were thinking, I know
No,
I
it's
know.
as it happened. It's as it happened. Shooting was actually still going on. I actually was holding my stomach in with one hand, and I was thinking, because no one was assisting him, and I
Yeah.
was thinking the shooting was still going. I was thinking of trying to crawl over and see if I could do something with my other hand, even though my body was exploding inside.
Yeah.
But when I
Wow.
took a look over and I saw the condition, I realized that there was, no point in attempting to do that.
So, Leibel, how do you process something like that? 2 weeks ago, you were making plans with him to make this lovely Chanukah by the sea. You were probably going back and forth with him. What you going to do? The donuts, the this, the how you going to help the kids? How you going to put the wrap the tefillin? How do you process that Rabbi Eli Schlanger of Sacred Memory is no longer with us?
How do you? How do
Yeah,
you process that? It's not something.
it's not
Listen,
some.
there's a perspective. There's a perspective. I think that there's a certain element of, if you start to have a perspective of asking these questions, why did this happen? Why do bad things happen to good people? How can you rip a family apart? How can you do that to someone? How can you do that to a family? How can you do that to a community? He was really the rabbi of the community, and he was loved, and he was so impactful by many. And there's so many stories coming out about him and the amazing person he was and and how he operated. And even
Yeah,
for me, what I was learning from him over these 3 months, he was so like, everything was ashkacha pratis. No matter what went wrong, he was happy because it happens for a reason. And he was so supportive. He looked at my success as his success. He was always pushing me. He was 100% backing me in everything that I did, all my initiatives. He was like, I want you to do as much as you can. You being successful is my success. His
wow.
perspective on, and the Rebbe is guiding us, and that's what we're here to do. And we're here to change people's lives and help impact the Jewish community. And and that's something that will live with me for the rest of my life, of course, is the lessons that I learned from him, and just taking things in stride. And nothing, his perspective is always like, everything happens for a reason. And sometimes you can't sit there. If you sit there try to rationalize something like this, you can end up in a deep mental rut that's not very healthy. What you need to
Yeah.
do is you need to pick yourself up. We need to spread goodness and kindness, spread light, dispel the darkness, be better people, and try to come out from this stronger and more proud Jews. You know, if you used to walk around with a cap because you weren't sure if you want to wear your kippah in public, now you wear your kippah in public. We don't shy away. Jews, we've been doing this for thousands of years. It's the only reason why we're still here, because we're proud to be Jewish. And same
Yeah.
with the Magen David as well. If you have a Magen David under your shirt, to wear it on top of your shirt. Little things, stick it to that. We're
And
proud
it's
to be
amazing.
Jewish.
It's
We're
amazing you
here.
say that, because when I spoke to Eli Sharabi, also a survivor, he said the same exact thing. He said, "Look, I can curl up into a little ball and be in bed all day, but I choose life. You know, as you in your way, you're choosing to continue spreading the light versus just, as you said, just question, go back. Could I have done something different? Obviously, we know you did everything you could that day. My next question for you is, do you have any questions do you have any questions of the response that day, or how things could have been different, whether it's security-wise, whether it's the police perspective? I know Hatzalah was right on the scene, but do you have any questions that today that still linger in your mind about, or any unsolved things that you still want to find out?
None of it really lingers in my mind because think it's very important to look forward, etc. Obviously, I'm like, I wish I got the gun. I wish I was able to do more. Obviously, the reason why I did is because Hashem decided I wasn't supposed to, and
Mhm.
that's just what it was. And I totally accept that. Um,
Wow.
Obviously, I was sitting there with hearing sirens and not seeing medics, not seeing anyone. I actually personally was not assisted by a medic. I was only assisted by civilians. The civilians brought me to the medics because I was conscious, so the medics didn't think I was in bad condition. Um,
Oh, wow.
and and
So that actually may
and
have worked
obviously,
against you, because they're like, "Okay, this guy's not too bad." You know, they didn't realize how
in a
serious
way, but
it
in a
was with
way,
you.
I did. The doctor said I saved myself from
Wow.
giving instructions and being conscious.
And the positive mental attitude. How are
Yeah,
you?
I was actually someone said something after I got shot. In the beginning, I was saying Shema, like obviously before I got shot, and then after I got shot, and someone walked over and said, "You're breathing right now. You're alive." Switched it to Tehillim, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's such a good point." And I right away switched it to Tehillim, and from then on, I was conscious. I'm like, "I'm gonna get through this. I'm too young. I'm conscious right now. There's no reason why I'm gonna die. I got this." And I started just giving instructions to the people that were trying to assist me, and they ended up bringing me in a stretcher over to the medics, where then the medics took over and then brought me the ambulance shortly after and got me over to the hospital.
And how are you? How are you doing today? Physically, emotionally, it seems like you haven't skipped a beat, which is amazing in itself. That's a nace in itself. But physically, are they telling you how much longer you're going to be there? What's going on?
So we don't have a specific estimated timeline. Baruch Hashem, the recovery so far has been pretty miraculous. And things are really, my core essentially got obliterated.
Yeah.
Um,
Because our
and they're trying
followers, our followers, when they first saw you, when they first started following you, they saw that you were in critical condition, that you couldn't even light the menorah. There was a nurse actually who brought you, who went out of his way and brought you like a little, and brought you outside, wheeled you. When I say wheeled, probably pushed you out in the bed, made special arrangements just so that you can light the
so
Hanukkah
that
candles.
was so that was actually an amazing story, which I would love to say really quickly.
Please.
Basically, my parents who flew in right away, obviously, they for Shabbos needed to light Shabbos candles, and they were going to be in the hospital, and they needed a place to light menorah. So they were asking the nurses where they can do that, and the nurse was like, "Wait, would Label also like to light? Because if I can go mobile for a CT scanner for surgery, I can go mobile to light menorah." So for the sixth night of Hanukkah or of Shabbos, Friday, they actually got me mobile and brought me outside. Turns out the nurse was Jewish. He's
Oh,
actually
wow.
American, and when he was 12 years old, they moved to Australia, and he remembers lighting menorah with his grandparents. So I had him light menorah with us as well. And
Oh,
he did
wow.
inform me that he never put on tefillin and never had a bar mitzvah. So I put tefillin on him, and we made a little bar mitzvah there as well.
So
So that was
you're
amazing.
lying in the hospital bed, and
In the
you're
ICU,
wrapping him in tefillin. I see.
in the ICU, making a bar
That's
mitzvah.
amazing.
Yeah, it was really beautiful. And he was so thankful after. He was like, wow. Yeah, it was really, that was very nice. That actually felt great. So that was the only night that I was able to properly light menorah outside. Otherwise, I
Yeah.
was in the ICU in and out of surgery.
So just yesterday, after 2 weeks, or a little over 2 weeks, you got up and walked for the first time. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so they wanted me to try to walk around. So I got up and walked, and they're like, started
Yeah.
walking, like, can you do a full lap? I'm like, yeah. Felt
So
totally
it
fine.
wasn't like you were getting restless for 2 weeks, 'cause you were probably sedated a lot of times. You didn't even probably.
I mean, every surgery they put me under, but I was walking around, felt totally fine. I was a little tired at the end and like sat down, I was good. When I woke up the
Yeah.
next morning, though, boy, did I feel sore. Imagine going to the gym for the first time after a year and
You
doing like
got a
a full
workout.
complete workout. It was crazy. I'm still feeling the soreness, but I think we're gonna get up and walk again today because I had surgery yesterday. I have another one tomorrow, so
And
I'm
that's
gonna
your
try
8th
to walk
surgery.
around.
That's your 9th surgery.
Coming up tomorrow, correct? Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
The road to recovery is long, and there's still some more surgeries to go. I'm still, I'm not closed yet.
And let me
It's
ask you
not
this.
finished being reconstructed, but they're working on it. And the team here has been incredible, and the care and the nurses here has been exceptional. I can't even explain how personal the care feels. It's been amazing.
Let me ask you this, Leibel. After everything you experienced that day, what gives you the strength to move forward?
God put every single person in this world on this earth for a reason. The fact that God didn't take me that day means that I have a purpose and a meaning and a reason why I was here, that I'm here. And the reason why I went through that experience is to be able to spread a message, to be able to inspire others to do more good and more kindness, and to grow in their relationship with God, and even for non-Jews alike to grow as people, to be better
Wow.
humans.
So
Um,
that's the
and
message you want people watching us today to take with
100%,
them.
yeah, it's very important. Jewish people, we always bounce back from tragedy. And I think a lot of times we see that, you know, after tragedy for a couple of weeks, everyone gets inspired, everyone goes to unity and starts taking on more mitzvot. And it lasts a couple of weeks and then the inspiration dies down. I think what's very, very important and what I really want to impart a message is that it shouldn't just be a couple of weeks. It shouldn't just be an inspiration. It should be little baby steps that everyone should take something on permanently to, to change their life for the better in a beneficial way, to do something, start lighting
Yeah.
Shabbat candles, not just for a couple of weeks, but live with more intention. When I woke up Tuesday morning and I saw the amount of people that, like when I got into the hospital and I was about to go into surgery, they told me you're gonna be okay. We got you. Said I was thinking in my head, I'm like, that's very nice of you. You haven't cut me open yet. You don't know how bad it is.
Yeah.
But okay, I guess we'll see if I wake up. When I woke up
Yeah.
Tuesday morning, I'm like, oh nice, I'm alive. That's good to know.
Yeah.
And when I saw around the world how many people were putting on tefillin, lighting menorah, like celebrating Chanukah and saying Tehillim for me around the world, thousands. I was like, oh my gosh, that's what kept me alive. 100%, that's what's keeping me alive. The continued tefillos have really been, I really feel like that's what's keeping me alive and helping me on this journey. And it can't stop and it shouldn't stop. And those are things that people should take things on and continue being proud to be Jewish. We are the Jewish people. We believe, we survive, we fight, we bounce back stronger. And the idea is that, I've been using this a little bit as a metaphor. It's like there's always a little bit of darkness in this world. And the idea is that we have to outshine the darkness with light, right? When a tragedy happens, darkness gets bigger. So as
Hmm.
Jews, we always start to do more light. But then the darkness stays the way it is. We do more light, so the darkness looks diminished. Then after a couple weeks, it kind of dies down and kind of just stalls. But imagine we continued to do more and more and more light. What would happen? Instead of waiting for another tragedy to happen before we do even more. Imagine we just continue doing more and more. The darkness would become so minuscule, and then it would be non-existent. And that's how we bring Mashiach, right? So the idea is
Yeah.
not that it lasts a couple weeks to just bring enough light just to overcome the darkness for now until another tragedy happens, chas v'shalom, and then we need to do more again. Rather, we should continue to always move forward and do more and do better and try to be the best people that we can be in our relationship with Hashem, our relationship with each other, and and yeah,
So
and in unity, the Jewish people.
in unity, biyachad, and Spread the light and Leibel, your bravery inspires us all. Your courage honored your mentor, Rabbi Eli Schlanger, and all the other Kedoshim who passed away. I'm sure you knew many of them. A lot of them, I'm told,
Yeah,
by Rabbi Ullman actually worked with Rabbi Schlanger in the office a good amount. Rabbi
incredible people.
Levitan.
Yes, amazing people.
We know about the couple in the beginning. I know we all heard about Ahmed Al Ahmed, who was heroic in his own right, but we didn't really hear about your stories and stories Boris and Edith. He was 69 years old. They were both, they both saw the terrorists when they first got there. There's video. I don't know if you've seen the video yet. There's drone footage and there's video from a dash cam of them trying to wrestle
Yeah, I
the
saw.
gun away from the terrorists. So it's amazing the bravery that we see through Edith and Boris. We saw it through we saw it through I think it was Reb Ruvain who
Ruben Marson
ran towards the terrorists with
threw a
rocks
brick.
through their bricks. It's amazing. And now we're hearing about your story. And we heard about Yankee Super, how the Hatzalah. So everyone came in to help, and it's an amazing inspiration. So your courage inspires us all, and may the memory of your mentor, Reb Eli Schlanger Zatzal, be a blessing, and may your recovery continue, and in strength, healing, and peace towards the world. We want to thank you very much, Leibel.
Thank you for having me.
We're joined now by Leibel's mother, the Leibel Lazaroff from College Station, Texas, and she just wanted to give us a little bit from a parent's perspective of what's going on. So let me ask you, Rebbitzin, when you first heard, you were in the United States, obviously. When you first heard what happened, where were you? What were you thinking? Walk us through that.
So it was the middle of the night. My husband woke me up very gently and said there has been an attack at Bondi, and
Oh wow.
Rabbi Eli is no longer with us, and Leibel has been injured. We don't know his status, and it took time, a few hours, with a lot of people intervening to try to locate him and really find out, was he alive? We knew he had been shot. It was also very unlike Leibel to not be answering his phone. He's, as
Yeah.
you could tell, very, sharp and on top of the game. So we were definitely concerned. I truly understood that Hashem has a plan, and if he's alive, he's alive. And if he's not, there's actually nothing I could do.
Uh-huh.
And then with a lot of compassion and people we knew in the Sydney on the ground, driving around from different hospitals and trying to see if he's in the system, we did determine, in fact, about a few hours later that he was, in fact, alive and post-surgery and in critical condition. And we did make right-away plans to leave where we live. We live kind of remotely, so to
Yeah.
get flights and visas and tickets and
You're not like
line
from New
up.
York and JFK. You're all the way in
Well,
College Station.
let's just say the closest international airport. The airport was 2 hours away, so to get there. So
Wow.
pulling everything together immediately, all our adult children stepped and their wives stepped in to take over the children, the Chabad house, to make sure that everything continued to function and not, God forbid, diminish light or cancel the public menorah lighting or cancel the tefillin brunch where everyone was showing up to the mitzvot. So the adult children stepped in to take care of the little ones. We have, thank God, 9 beautiful children and 2 daughters-in-law and 2 grandchildren. So the youngest is 19 months old. So there's a lot of pieces of the puzzle to pick up.
Wow.
And they did. Yeah. Yeah.
Very nice.
And so the feelings were truly letting go and trusting that Hashem has a plan and that we're going to get there as soon as we can.
And
I felt my
ask
entire
you-
system slow down, though. Like my entire system was just like, okay, think, breathe,
Yeah.
pick up a Tehillim, find
Wow.
out what's going on.
So let me ask you this: when you hear about it, what goes? Is this obviously, like we were speaking to Leibel? This is like a tropical paradise, Australia, lovely
Yeah.
weather. This is probably the last thing you thought would happen in Australia.
Yeah. So the premier here, which is the equivalent of a governor, asked me, were you ever worried sending your son to Australia? And the truth is I wasn't, because the people of Australia are known to be such peace-loving, kind people.
Yeah.
But I did tell him that unfortunately hate has left unchecked here in the city, marching through the streets. And I said to him, globalized intifada is not just a statement, that's
Yeah.
ramifications. And so I trusted that he was there for something really powerful and holy as a shliach of the Lubavitcher Rabbi. He was going to make a difference in the world. And I trust that God has a plan for our children, each one of them, and they'll end up where they're meant to be. And we're grateful that he's obviously alive and doing well. But yes, it was never, there's a lot of things as a parent you kind of anticipate, right? Your
Yeah.
kid could get kicked out of class, have a fight with a friend,
That's
break
what
a
I was gonna,
bone.
that's what I was
This
going to
is
ask.
not,
How do
this is
you
not on the list.
how do you cope knowing the how close you came to losing one of your 9 children?
So I think there's multiple facets. I mean, I think, as I said to someone in the ICU, there's no guidebook for this, right? Like, there's really no guidebook to say how to handle when your child is in a terrorist attack, right? Or injured. Though we do, as Jews, and as for sure as Chabad Hasidim, we have a depth of learning and fundamentals that are really part of our belief system, that God paves the way for us. He knows where we're meant to be and what our story is meant to be. And so there's a part of me genuinely saddened for this journey, wishing I could take that pain away, genuinely aware of the ramifications for him, for the rest of our children, for the Jewish world, for Sydney. I realize what this is globally, right? And yet personally as well. And then the other side is like, there is so much bigger. This is a bigger than our story and than my son. And so we're so grateful to the fact that he is here, the nurses, the staff, so many of the staff members that we bumped into, are just like, we can't believe he's here. Thank God he's alive.
Your son seems like a very special child. I'm sure all of them are, but
Yeah. Each one is, yeah.
for what he went through, is that something that surprises me? I'm still in shock. But are you surprised when you hear
So
about how he sprang into action? About
it's very interesting you say that. I was asked that question before, and honestly, I wasn't surprised because he is
Wow.
such a quick-witted, proactive, sharp, and determined young man. And those qualities are ones that always in life, all the qualities we have can bring us forward. And in this case, Leibel used all those qualities that God gifted him to really save a life.
Yeah.
He could have protected himself and he
Yeah.
didn't. And it wasn't even, I knew when someone said, "Were you surprised?" I said, I'm not even surprised. I'm in awe, but I'm not surprised.
And for
I'm
a
not
cop,
surprised.
and for a cop, for him, like
A
most people
human
would
is a
think,
human being. A
a
human
human,
is a human.
but you see a
Human life
cop
is human life.
down, he ran into that line of fire. He could have
Yeah.
remained hidden where he was hidden. He ran into
Yeah.
the line of fires, but it doesn't surprise you, say. That's your
You
son.
know what? It doesn't, because I think that as a Jewish nation, we're raised to value life, and we're raised to value the conservation of life and preserving life, and we're raised to be lights in the world, right? Unto the nations, light in the world. We're raised with a moral compass, and that moral compass should follow us wherever we go. And again, in awe and in amazed, and again, still, I know it sounds crazy, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah. And finally, Robertson, as everyone knows, we want to keep saying to Helen, obviously, Leibel has been through a lot. His 9th surgery tomorrow. He's in the 7th inning stretch. What do you want the world to know as the final question? What message you want the world to know about your son as well as Rabbi Eli Schlanger, their relationship?
Yeah.
And the Kedoshim who we've lost.
So I think that you touched upon something that's really important. It is not lost on us that we've experienced a tremendous miracle, and at the same time, there's tremendous pain and loss around us. A community that is shattered, a Jewish global world that is shaken, and tremendous loss. Fathers, grandparents, children. This is not something we rebound from lightly,
Yeah.
and it's not something that the mark and the pain dissipates. It's something we're going to carry with us, this beautiful community that we've been drawn together through trauma,
Yeah.
but our
And
unity is stronger than the trauma.
not to mention, we have the not to disturb you, but just to build on that thought, we have the trauma now we've all been going through, since October 7th. Obviously
Yeah.
not personally, but now you're experiencing, and your son Leibel experienced it firsthand. But we're like, okay, we've got that, and when does it end? We have this, and what?
So it's interesting you say that, because we, in our role as campus shluchim, we work on universities, and a lot of Jewish life on campuses have been obviously a lot of very tumultuous. And we're dealing with a demographic of young people who are in the heart of TikTok culture and campus protests. And even though our campuses remain mostly safe and secure due to leadership really having a moral compass and sending unequivocal messages of values. It's a message I've been reiterating to our students throughout the past 2 years. And in this whole post-October 7th narrative, I think there's a very important piece that's missing is the awakening of the neshama of the young Jew who now knows that they are a source of light in the world and not to cower, not to waver, not to duck, not to hide, but to we're louder and prouder. And I will say this on our campus, I've seen the past 2 years, more yarmulkes, more kids celebrating Shabbat, more kids learning Torah, more high necklaces. Because when our enemies try to shrink us, there's one answer. They do not get to determine our narrative and our story as a Jewish nation. That is not their power. That is not their right. They represent existential darkness that we can only overcome by being light, by being true to who we are as strong, proud Jews, eternal family. We're eternal family. We're going nowhere. I'll end with this. One of my sons years ago, I think it was during maybe one of the stabbing waves of attacks in Israel, and he was 6 or 7. He looked at me and said, "Ma, why in every generation have they tried to attack us and get rid of us?" And I just looked at him and I said to him, "How do you answer that to a 6-year-old?" Yeah, how do I answer that to a 6-year-old? And I just said, "Did you ever wonder how it's possible that in every generation we're still there?" And I think that our story as a Jewish nation is not new. And we are, someone said to me when he was going to the surgery, they said, I said, yeah, it's a really rough, it's a really, it's a tough surgery, but Leibel's tougher. We as a Jewish nation, we've been through a lot, but we do not back down. We grow louder, stronger, prouder. And if our enemies only knew that, they realized we don't cower.
Yeah.
We are Am Yisrael Chai. We are living, we're strong, we're united, we're eternal. And something that in the ICU, Leibel was surrounded by love and support from this community and our family as well, people flying in internationally. I mean, unbelievable. And the lady in the ICU said, "We're so impressed with you people."
Oh, wow.
There are people who sit in this ICU weeks, no one visits them. Your son has not been alone for a second.
Yeah. Even though
That's who we are.
he's all the way from America, people.
And he's only here 3 months.
Wow.
But we're a family. We are a family. And on the way here, my Uber driver is a Muslim guy. And when he found out why I'm here, "You're here visiting?" I said, "Actually, no." He said he was mortified. He said, "I'm so sorry. This doesn't represent us." And I'm mortified.
Wow.
He said, "I just wanted," and he told me, he said, "But who's been taking care of you? The government?" I said, "No, actually, the Australian government not." I said, "But the Jewish nation here in Sydney, the family, the community." And I said, "They arranged housing and laundry and babysitters." And I'm telling him this, and he said, "Wow, you're people. We could learn from you to stick together and hold each other." So we have the ability at the end of their car ride, I said, we have the ability to spread light wherever we are, whether it's an Uber driver, in an Uber car, in an ICU, or sitting in Crown Heights or Brooklyn or wherever we find ourselves. We have to be a source of clarity, morality, and light. That is our role. That is our job.
And your message to parents is, like you said, do not cower. Your message to kids, especially since you're on a campus, Rebbitzin, put that, as Leibel earlier said, show that Magen David, put your yarmulke on, wrap the tefillin.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I think that as parents, we have to be so clear that our children are turning to us for stability, for clarity, for morality, for us not to further feed the victim mentality and the whole anti-Semitic narrative. We need stronger, prouder, healthier, louder Jews. That's how we succeed. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs has a line. He said, "Non-Jews respect Jews who respect themselves."
Yeah. So the message is very clear, but it almost seems a lot of people say a lot of it is a jealousy. The chosen people, they're doing so well, they're doing this, they're so successful. Where do you think it ends? Because it doesn't seem to be ending.
So I think it really go back to Genesis, go back to the Chumash where God was speaking to our matriarchs and our patriarchs. And God literally says, "You're going to go, you'll be spread out amongst the nations. And all the nations of the world will be blessed through you." But within that promise, within that operating system of the world, is that there will always be tension and a dynamic, whether you find the causation. I don't think anti-Semitism needs a reason. It is built into the operating system. And the end is Mashiach. And the end is that the same promise that Hashem made to our matriarchs and patriarchs, the same God with the same promise, and that's been true. The same God commits to us and promises to us that will come a time where light will overshine darkness, where good will reign supreme. And that is where we're heading day by day. And we cannot lose focus. We cannot allow fear and anxiety to help us. We can't allow that narrative to become internal and lose focus on who we are, what we're doing as ambassadors of light and goodness and kindness in the
So
world to
almost,
everyone.
yeah, and seeing it through that lens, now we understand a little better. So we're living in Mashiach time. So don't ask
On
why
the
is it
way.
so bad. It's bad because we're in the birth pangs of
Yes.
Mashiach. Amazing.
And within all of that, there is so much good. So I think the world is ready for a radical shift, and every single one of us has to be a part of that radical shift.
Yeah.
No one is absolved. It's not a rabbi's job. It's not a rebbitzon's job. Every single human being is mandated to step into the light and shine light.
Wow.
We're all created in the image of God. We all have a godly light within us. We all have to let that shine.
What an amazing message, Leibel Lazaroff, all the way from College Station, Texas. We now see where Leibel gets his inspiration from and his strength from, his courage, and we want to wish again Leibel a full recovery. And
Amen.
we want to see only good things. We're going to keep in touch with
Amen.
him and shidduchim
Absolutely.
and
If someone said it's going to be a big fat wedding.
yeah. And we hope to all be at his
Amen.
wedding. We hope to all be at his
Amen.
wedding
Amen.
wherever it
Amen.
is. And the times of Mashiach coming soon.
Amen. I'm going to end with this. I think that a lot of our lifestyle being raised with the mindset of the Lubavitcher Rebbe to look forward, to look at adversity and challenges and struggles as moments for growth, inflection points in our life where we can spring forward. Like I said, there was no instruction manual for this, but the instruction manual was the values that we were taught in so many of the volumes of the Rebbe's teachings of Emunah and Bitachon and understanding we are exactly where we're meant to be, and we only march forward.
And we all know that the Rebbe didn't have an easy life himself. The Friedeker Rebbe,
Yeah, correct.
so he's the real inspiration.
They're role models for us to keep being a source of light in the world.
Amen, amen. And we should continue to, in the Rebbe's spirit, to move forward. And we
Amen.
want to hear good things from you. And please
Amen.
keep in touch with us. And we hope to also hear a little bit of. We understand that Leibel is a gifted pianist, so we hope
Indeed.
to hear that, and we're going to share some of his music as well, which is also very inspirational.
Okay.
I saw some of his music.
Yes.
And
Plays with soul.
amen, amen. Well, thank you very much. And I want to let you get back. I know you're busy with the hospital and everything, but thank
Absolutely.
you and Leibel for taking time out of your day to speak to JBN and our followers, and we'll continue davening, and all the best.